1, 2, 3. What's up, everybody? It's your boy Rico No Suave, and I am super happy to make another great stop. Man, you know who I found? This young lady right here, Osiris Muñez. Actually, you know what, love? I found you.
Okay.
And I'm so glad that I found you.
Oh, good.
You know?
We found each other. We found each other.
So tell me, I'm happy to be here from Chicago to see you here in Hollywood. Let's talk about music, right? Okay. Let's talk about music. I want to give them a little bit of, give them a brief synopsis as far as who you are, how long you've been in the music industry. Let's go from there.
Okay, so hey, everybody. You know me, it's me, Osiris from 15 Minutes to Show here at Rico. Now, when Rico and I get together, we start acting really silly. He brings out the child in me. I may get a little off crazy because I am not on camera and I'm being interviewed versus the other way around. But let's start by music. So when I was a young girl,
yes,
my parents, both of them, I can contribute to having me have a very well-rounded understanding of music. My father listened to classical and jazz. My mother listened to R&B and gospel. So we got the full round. My dad would turn the music down. He made us listen to, every year we had to listen to Swan Lake by Tchaikovsky. So I can still hear Swan Lake in my head because he played that a lot. And then he went to jazz. My mother was Bobby Blue Bland, Arthur Price. We're talking to crooners here, the kind of people that could really sing. I'm serious, ladies. If you heard, I don't know if you know who Arthur Price is or any of those guys, Bobby Blue Bland, but if you hear one note, one bar of a song, you might lose yourself. So I'm going to warn you, it's dangerous. So, especially if you're not being loved. Let's just put it like that. Right. So anyway, back up forward. And then I went into the military out of high school.
Yep.
I joined the U.S. Navy and I rode the waves.
Navy, let's go. Let's go.
So anyway, shout out to all my vets out there. So anyway, joined the Navy. And in the Navy, I experienced every facet from all over the world. So a lot of people from back east, a lot of people from international. You're talking about a little country girl from Waco, Texas, Amarillo, Texas, going into the big U.S. Navy and all of a sudden everything in your face at one time.
Okay.
So when I went in there, that's when everything turned on.
Okay.
All the brothers was like, into all the stuff, they were doing the good weed. And they used to pack it in the back of the speakers when they would go to countries like Greece and all of the foreign countries, and they'd pack it in the speakers and bring it out.
Nice.
And then, this is in my book, Nita, by the way, so it's coming, it's public. But anyway, so they would pack it in the speakers and then come out in the barracks and break it out on tables and stuff.
Okay.
One of the guys, a group of them, taught a monkey how to roll joints. So we would literally put on music, hang out and chill. I'm the youngest one in there. I don't know nothing. I ain't never been nowhere from Dot Squidly, and I'm here with all the big boys, hanging out. And they all used to like me. My nickname was KK for Cool Kid.
Okay.
Everybody just liked me. It's like, okay, well, I'm just hanging with y'all, So anyway, but they taught the monkey how to roll joints.
Nice.
And then most of my really deep understanding from music came from after I had my experience. I mean, because, wow, when I came out of the military, it had boxes and boxes of albums back then. So you're talking about the Dramatics. Remember The Devil is Dope? Yeah. Remember the music, The Devil is Dope, by the Dramatics, those kind of music, Now, I'm a young kid, so I'm not as old as you might think I am.
That's right.
But nevertheless, these were my childhood days.
Okay.
So anyway, so we all up to there, and then I really learned about music. After that, I got out of the military, ended up moving to Northern California where my parents stayed at the time. Okay. Ended up studying at the great, powerful Sonoma State. I was introduced to people like Ntozake Shanghai, who I have a authentically signed for Colored Girls. Yeah. That book I met Dr. Maya Angelou because they all lived in Northern California, except Ntozake didn't live there, but Dr. Angelou did. So we had privy to all of those kind of people. I didn't even know who they were because, again, I wasn't looking to them like, oh, it's Dr. Maya Angelou. I didn't know.
Right.
So I was just, that's why it was cool, because I didn't care about things like that.
Right.
I just liked people. If I liked you, I didn't, I liked you. It didn't matter,
We just normal.
Yeah, it was just normal.
Right.
So anyway, come in the college, they had the BRE, Black Student Union, BSU, Black Student Union.
Let's go.
Oh, shit. Oh, you had everything. Everything. We used to, wait a minute, we used to go and hang at the BSU parties at the campus.
Okay, okay.
And I was a young mother, and so I would literally bring my kid to the party, have them watch the baby while I was out on the floor boo-gooing, listen to me. And then in the military, I would win dance contests.
Okay.
I've always loved to dance, and so eventually I did become a professional dancer.
Okay.
But, just tons of music. So again, you're talking about people from all over the world, from not just one area, all over the world. We're on a college campus, one that's known all over the world.
Let's go.
And so we're being exposed to all of these things.
Exposed.
Then after that, I got out of that, went to Northern California. So when I got out of college, got through that, and then decided to become a Buddhist. When I became a Buddhist, they said you can chant for anything you want. So I chanted to meet Maurice White of Earth, Wind, and Fire. And lo and behold, no lie, truth. I'm my mama's will, Truth. I sent them a letter to ARC Studios at the time. They were on Purdue, the Complex Studios on Purdue, and I believe it's in West Los Angeles. They were the Complex. It was, who was it then? I can't remember the names, but it was a whole complex center there at the time, and all the guys, the big boys, were working down there.
Got it.
So his sister, Jerry, contacted me and said, Maurice has never met, and he doesn't know anyone like you, because I was into metaphysics.
Okay.
So metaphysics came to me by chance. All I knew is that what I saw in terms of religious upbringing didn't match what I thought should be, people practicing a religion and all of those things. So my mind, again, real open, always been open and curious. Open and curious. My mind just went into these things. So I met this whole group of metaphysics, and they're like, these people are up in the upper echelon. They're not kitchen witches and doctors, and these people have been trained for years. And they grabbed me and did like this. You're talented. And they trained the hell out of me. Okay. So by the time I met Maurice, I was well prepared to have a full-on conversation, because I had been trained and been studying since like about 19 years old, and so up until present time. And the whole time, and of course after that, they were into music, so I got to go in the studios and see, the guys rehearsing and stuff like that.
Nice.
And it was really kind of Maurice and his, the guys to let me in there, because they didn't know me, but because I knew him and he trusted me to a certain degree, I was able to go in and really get some first tone vibration when people are creating. And I've learned not to bother people when they're creating, because when we're creating, it's something happens to you. Like when I listen to music, if anybody will tell you around me, it does something to me.
That's right.
I'm not a person that just listens to music, like, oh, it's a song on the radio, I'm a boop like this. I mean, it changes my hormones. If my frequency goes up to another level, I feel like I can get out of my body even though I'm in one. It has a whole other kind of effect on me. So I use music and sound for therapy. And when I was in the military, a great deal of things happened to me. It's in my book. I don't want to have to go into it. But a lot happened to me in the military. And so I learned to use different things because of what I like, and how my body and how my blood and all my DNA stuff. I learned to use different things to heal myself, and music was one of those therapies.
That's love.
And so back in the day, again, we ran into people like Gil Scott-Heron, and I would have friends talking to Gil Scott-Heron. I didn't even know who it was. I'm like, oh, and they would be like, oh, that was Gil Scott-Heron. I'm like, who is that? So these are things, and they liked me because I didn't know. And so I wasn't around them to be in their business.
I see.
I wasn't trying to hang with them because it was more, and a lot of people might have thought that about me because of how I end up being in things, but I will tell you that's because I practice a practice. I'm a chanter, and everybody that's a Buddhist, they knows how profound it is.
Yes.
It ain't nothing like you
that.
think. I know you think you know what's going on, but you don't. I'm telling you that now. You can believe whatever you want to believe. I'm here with you, but I'm telling you, it's a whole nother level of frequency because you really aren't here the whole time you're practicing, and you're not saying words. You're saying a mantra with a sound, and each of the characters, not words, characters. They come alive like ninjas. So it's pretty deep and profound, but it's something you can read about if you want to. If you're just interested in something like Buddhism as a practice.
So
and then when I got into music,
So check this out. I know when you got into music, because we got to get up close and personal as far as with them. And can I get that? Can I see this real quick? Yeah. Everybody, check this out. We about to get up close and personal because when it comes to music, she did say something about hormones, right? And when you're talking about healing, when you're talking about that, there's a frequency of a wave that comes through. Now, we're going to walk up close to the camera because I want them to see your face, to see exactly how you look when it comes to music. So when the smile that you put on your face, when you listen to a certain genre of music, what is the one that really affects you most?
Because I like to dance, I'll have to say hip hop. I like to dance. And back in the day, again, children out there, I'm talking about Far Side, people like that. I mean, we're going way back. Africa Boombada, Gil Scott Heron. See, what happened to hip hop is that they added music and sound and video to hip hop. But prior to the music, video, color, sound aspect of hip hop was really hip hop.
Yes.
Like you would just go up and just start talking to someone, all of a sudden it'd be a rap. Like, hey man, what you doing?
That's
I was going down the street and they singing, no, I found into Tweet. Tweet was riding, I was rolling, they was doing, I was scolding, they was hanging, I was banging, they was booing, I was schooling.
Let's go.
And then the next thing you know, had a song and you add the beat. Next thing you know, turn on the beat.
Let's go.
Then when it got more money, and then the next thing you know, technology stepped in, and there we go. Hip hop people. Okay, Mama been in this a long time. So I'm telling you, these are things I have experienced, and boy, I never knew how much they would play a part in my life. And music, for those out there that are fighting to keep music in schools and everything, for me, I was diagnosed with something because of things that happened to me in the military. And if it were not for music, I would be on all sorts of drugs and stuff, but I do use music and sound. I use binaural beats.
Yeah.
I use isochronic tones.
Nice.
And I've been doing this for years. So for those of you that haven't and you're just joining, those people on these kind of frequencies, welcome to the club.
That's right.
For those of you that are just catching up, we're glad that you caught up.
Yeah.
That you finally on board. But we've been riding on the wave a long time. So, back in the day, I used to appear very strange to people, because I was into these type of things.
Yeah.
And then years later, again, using my practice, I was laying on the floor with the bug, and I ended up looking in the Hollywood Reporter, which is a very popular magazine here. At the time it was. And they had a job at this small comedy agency called Spotlight Enterprises.
Nice.
And in Spotlight, that's how I got into comedy.
Nice.
So I went in, they were like, I'm sick. I can't come in today. They were like, well, can you come in? I'm like, I'll be there tomorrow. I went in sick. They met me, they called me the next day. Can you come in and be our receptionist?
Let's go.
2 weeks later, I was the assistant to the head of the VP of the company and the president.
Let's go.
And then because I didn't want to stick to comedy, we're talking about Damon Wayans, Jamie Foxx, all of them, they were young and vigorous when we first met them. They all know what I'm talking about. Chris Rock, all of them. Then I ended up going from there because I wanted to do music, and one of the guys at the company, his girl worked at William Morris. Why did I hear that? And that, my friends, is how I got it into the real heavy part of music.
Go.
Where now I'm in the touring part. I'm getting privy to information that other folks don't get to see. Things like that. And the biggest, William Morris, it's the oldest talent agency in the world.
Yeah.
And then they partnered with, they went through a couple of changes. It's WME now, but back in the day it was William Morris.
Sure.
So that's how I got into music, and I ended up working in the music division.
Nice. So, grab this back again because she loves the mic like I do.
I love it.
one of the things that we have to talk about is this. There's hip hop back in the day and there's hip hop now. There's a difference in regards to the beats and how things were actually, because back then for us, it was coming in a circle. You got the beatbox. Exactly. We had all that, right? We'll be in the bathroom in a corner where the bass be hitting.
The scrub work.
Oh, get this. And the fork. Yeah. And you know, there's some people that still do that to this day. You know, I do want to give a big shout out to people that, you know, I want them to see. They can't see still. There it is.
I'm sorry. I'm used to a big old camera and we're on a phone. So it's a little different. I feel like my space.
Hey, I'm doing this because it's a repeat. That's what.
It's no worries.
So when it comes to music, when it comes to the style, because of music back then and now, the music, of course, and the beats are more efficient now because of technology, right? And it's good, right? It's good.
Anything.
Exactly. It can mimic anything. The one thing which you can't mimic is biting rhymes. That's one thing you cannot mimic. The one thing that we want to talk about, and we're going to get, I'm going to let you get up and close and personal with them because they need to understand this Drake and Kendrick Lamar beef. When we talk about beef back in the day, it was a beef between groups. It was beef where, you know, we used to battle out. Beef. It was a serious beef back then. But now you have a different version of beef where it's almost like hidden, because beef will come me and you in front and we'll battle it out and we got a crowd around us and we're actually battling. What do you think about this type of beef that we have between Drake and Kendrick Lamar? Let them know.
Okay, so let me start by saying this. When I was a little girl, this is what we used to sing as a nursery rhyme.
Okay.
My mama, your mama live across the street. Every night they have a fight, and this is what they say. I love you. Take a peach, take a plum, take a piece of bubble gum. No peach, no plum, just a piece of bubble gum. So in that way, you talked about each other's families on the low. By doing it that way, my mama, your mama live across the street. Every night they have a fight, and this is what they say, you know. And then we were little kids and weren't allowed to cuss, so we had to do it. And then we had a real, when Prince does his song, he said, "Put your feet on the rock." They used to say, "Ooh, ah." Ooh, ah.
Yeah.
Okay. So a lot of things that you people are hearing out there, it comes from these things back in the day. So when a beef was a beef, you know, it was really like somebody did something, you're a family. They were like serious beefs. You know, way back in the day, they pick up a shotgun and shoot.
Yeah.
You know, just from coming up onto the land, on the land. When we met people back in the day, they would say, my mother would say, "Who your folk? Who your people?"
Right.
Just so we know we weren't mixing our DNA with the wrong kind of DNA. So you have to be discerning in that way.
Yeah.
But hip hop and all of those things stem from a solid war between two people.
That's right.
And then those two people bring other people in by association. You talk to my mama, I'm talking about your mama. Go get your cousin. Get big fat Babby and bring him over here since he wanna talk about what. I'm telling you, this is where I come from. The refined me has been polished. Okay. The Osiris has been polished.
Yes,
and she's been refined and beat into submission.
Yes.
You know, to be a professional. You know, but when you talk about where I've come from, I'm being honest with you.
Yes.
There would be raw fights out in the middle of the street. I grew up in the country.
Let's go.
Where people would fight out in the middle of the street. Go get your mama. No, take your shoes off. Take your shoes. No, girl, bring me my switch. Bring me that stick over there, and they would make the kid go stand over there in the yard. Go.
Right.
Stand.
Yes.
And my mother was no joke.
Yes.
My mother, to this day, bless my parents' heart, and I love them. And this is in my book because now it's funny, but back then it was not funny because we didn't know what was going on.
Right.
Like, okay, what's happening? My mother was insanely jealous. You know, and in those days, those women, you married, you had your children, and you really were supposed to be this wholesome kind of couple, you know. But my dad, I guess he was one of those people who didn't communicate much or whatever the problem is. So they really were kind of possessive of each other. But the strange thing is that my mom, I remember one night she told us to stand on the corner, me and my brother. Again, this is in my book called Nita. Okay, it tells my story of where I've come from into the Hollywood personality you now see. You know, but my mother had a little bitty 45. And she just knew my dad was having an affair. And he was in the car with the car and his friends. Me and my brother were standing. She made us stand on the corner. Little bitty gun that the girls used to carry back in the day. I don't know what they carry these days. But those days they had a little bitty 45, one you could stick in your pocket and go in. And my dad and those people, they did like this. And they never came to see my dad. I think he lost all his friends. They never came back to the house again. But again, even during that, the beefs would go on. I'm telling you that because it was a beef. Then my mother would go tell my aunt, they all with the sisters would call each other on the phone, girl, and do you know what blah, blah, blah did? Honey, he's assaulted dog. You know, and the whole time these things are going, music is playing in the background. Mm-hmm. Even though all of these things are going, there's always music going on. There's always music going on. Yep. Somebody doing the hula hoop to music. Yep. Somebody playing jacks to music. Somebody's doing marbles to music. The boys are playing basketball to music. And then the beef went on. Yep. So the Kendrick Lamar and Drake beef, the one that's going on, I'm not clear of what the beef is about. I read what Wikipedia said and what the internet said and what people say, but unless I actually knew Kendrick and or Drake, I'm not sure unless I was up close and personal to the people that know them. But I do know that for many years, you guys know the West Coast, East Coast have always been some kind of rival. They always trying to keep some stuff going on, some shmuta. But I think in the days of Aquarius, with everybody wanting to be in an equal pace and there's nobody bigger or better than the other. I like the beefs to be more about humanity, you know, like, yeah, I dropped off a lunch bag that was worth $5 and yours was only 10. You know, to the people down at the shelter. What you gonna do about that? You know, instead of the same old kind of low vibe stuff. Somebody did it to somebody's girl, and that ain't nothing new, man. Somebody always doing it to somebody's girl or somebody's man or whatever. You know, I'd like to see the beefs evolve a little bit more. But I think Kendrick, you're awfully cute, and I saw your family; they're adorable. And Drake, I have love for both of y'all. I stand solitary, what we call judo. We stand in the middle. We don't have one side or the other. We stand in the middle and stand firm. Yes, you know, that's where I stand on that. But, you know, it's good seeing them, you know, get it out. It's better than shooting each other in the street. At least you're getting it out in sound. And in therapy, that's a part of therapy, is getting it all out on
So
vibe.
What do you think about with the music that has evolved where when it was rap, it was hip hop. Mm-hmm. They're singing in rap now where the rappers are singing kind of like the style of Drake, where you're singing. Do you think that's kind of evolved with putting a little bit of R&B? Now, normally when we talk about R&B and a mixture with a hip hop artist that's in there, I kind of take it like SWV and Redman. Right?
Okay.
You know how he raps and then they come in and sing, but then you have the rapper that's singing and rapping. What do you think about that?
So let me give you a group that you might have ever heard of, and you'll go hear of them now. They're called Little Brother. Little Brother. Little Brother went from being Little Brother to the Foreign Exchange. Ha. If you know anything about music and hip hop, you would know who Little Brother is. They did the same thing. They mixed jazz, hip hop, R&B singing all together.
Okay.
All together. So if you want to know like a good blend of that, go listen to Little Brother.
Little Brother.
They're from the South. Like, as a matter of fact, they got a song on it. It's called "You Are Watching New NG," New Negroes Network out of South Carolina.
Wow.
You know, so they really broke the bar when it comes to mixing all of those genres. And, you know, I'm serious. If you probably have never heard, but if you haven't, you should go check out Little Brother and then the Foreign Exchange, because they broke off like those groups used to do back in the day. They
Yeah.
break up and then form another group.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's what they did.
Okay.
But they are probably pros at mixing high quality R&B, jazz, hip hop together and singing while they're doing it.
Got it.
Okay.
All right.
Well, there we go.
Let me grab this right.
Okay.
I'm gonna switch sides with you. We're about to come back over. Everybody, man, you know what? My girl Osiris, oh my God. You know, I'm so happy that I'm here in Hollywood. We're at Nirvana Studios, Hollywood. That's what we do. We got the records behind us representing her music and what she does in the industry, you know, and you know, looking at this background here, if you haven't watched the show before, she was on my show and she actually had the records behind her. And I'm like, oh my God, I love that background.
That's Eric's idea. That is Nirvana Studios of Hollywood idea. I cannot take credit for that. I thought it was cool beans, so that's how we did it.
It was cool beans, and it still is cool beans. Now I'm here up close and personal and being able to see this. And of course, I got to give a big shout out to my man, Eric. I'm going to actually do a little clip with him. But to end it off, love, let's talk about your books. You got something that you need to let the people know up close and personal. Let them know about your books and also give them a little inspiration before we let you go.
Wow. I would say my standing here is an inspiration.
Let's go.
People have no idea what I've gone through, what someone's journey might have been before you are darting out jealousies and envies against people. You should really take the time to go inside of your own self and find out your own self-worth and your self-esteem and wherever those things are buried.
Yeah.
And I would say in all relationships, particularly those in music, where a lot of these relationships in entertainment, they're lifelong relationships. You've been in a band with somebody, you're lifelong forever until the person goes or you go or, you know, or something like that. You have to really learn how to be compassionate with people and really have something in your life that grounds you spiritually.
Yeah.
Not religion. I don't believe believing in something external outside of yourself. I mean something that grounds you, brings you focus, brings you peace, brings you contentment inside.
Yeah.
You know, something that externally makes you look like you're a 10-year-old kid and you may be an 80-year-old person. You know, I'm talking about something that digs that deep inside and digs it out. That would be my inspiration, and to do what you love to do and to try to be as close to who you are as you can. I've never let people tell me who I am, ever. And I used to get in trouble when I was a kid. The teachers loved me, but I was always outspoken. I always had something to say, even though I was kind of a shy little kid. But when they gave me the spot, it was like, bam, okay, you know, like that. Lots of power and force out there like that. And then in terms of me, what I'm doing now, I eventually became the artist that I always was. You know, I still do a bit of media. I do my show. It's 15 minutes a show. For those of you that watch me on the show, 15 minutes a show, we air once a month. And I come in and I go around LA and anywhere else I can Zoom from over the world, and we talk to people that I find interesting.
Nice.
I find interesting.
Yes.
I don't care if Hollywood finds them interesting. I find them interesting, and I think their stories should be told. And if you knew their story, you could probably find them interesting too.
Let's go.
So I do that, and then I became a painter when I was young. I was always had a lot of skills, but my mom and dad was very leery of the entertainment industry. And even though I could sing, and when I was a kid, I was one of those creative kids who was always doing something for the teachers and always in a program. And they they would let me do the speeches and things. So I always had that in me, but it was never encouraged.
Okay.
And then my life kind of beat me into being an artist, like being true to myself.
Nice.
So, you know, that would be what I'd have to say.
Nice.
You know.
Your two books that you have books?
I have a book called Nita. Now, Nita was written during COVID.
Okay.
And the publisher that originally published the book had to pull out of the book. A small publisher from Europe, actually.
Wow.
Had to pull out of the book. So it was a limited supply in Barnes and Noble. There may be some reprints, I don't know.
Right.
But the book that I have out now, it's not out, but it is the book that it's been sent to publishers, and it's called The Boy Who Stood Between Two Trees.
Oh, nice.
And I will leave you with that.
That's all.
Just think about the boy who stood between two trees and what that might imply.
Read it between the lines,
Read
everybody.
between the lines. Okay.
Love.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. And thanks everybody out there for putting up with my gibs, my gabs, and my goobies. Okay, I love you very much.
Everybody, you
Sending light
already
and
know
love.
that's my girl.
Sending my heart
Osiris,
to all
right?
y'all that want it. It's out there. It's big.
I can't wait to really interview you like on a red carpet big time as well too.
wow.
This is our red carpet right now.
Well, you'll know me when.
Yeah, I know.
It's
I
like,
know
okay,
you
well,
now.
she
That's
came
what I
on my
love.
show. Well, you know, now I can't find her. Her people are in the way. I would never do that. I would never do that. I don't like all of that. If I want to talk to somebody, I don't care who it is. That's my friend. Put them through.
You already know everybody. That's my girl Osiris Mounier, man. Here at Nirvana Studios, Hollywood. Oh man, I'm in Hollywood right now.
The show. Shout out, subscribe. I need your numbers.
Where's it being streamed on?
It's on YouTube right now.
YouTube, okay.
It's on YouTube, and I'm all over the place. So just Google my name.
Yep.
Osiris, 15 minutes a show.
It's your boy Rico No Suave. We got to get out of here. Records and all. Let's go. Dale.